we've toured today and looked at some of that, and so I know that this group has some comments to make. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture, Steve Troxler.
I thank you for being here today. It's unfortunate that we're here under these circumstances. We've seen many disasters in North Carolina, from hurricanes to frost and freezes, tornadoes, but I think this probably will go down as the worst disaster that we have ever seen in North Carolina. Fortunately, we do have a strong emergency preparedness system in North Carolina that is working very hard along with the National Guard from the state level, and it's going to take a lot of resources to be able to fix the damage that has happened here. And of course, I'm particularly interested in the agricultural damage that has happened, and it is a teetotal disaster. There's no way about it. So we've got to start planning. How do we help people in agriculture get through this and come out the other side and build a bridge to the future? It's going to take a lot of resources. Yesterday, I had with me up here, I flew yesterday, and I had with me yesterday representatives from the State House and Senate to survey the damage. And I'm proud to say today that we've got federal representatives here with us today, some of them from even eastern North Carolina. So you're not in this alone. There are a lot of people that are going to be working to help you. I know most of the time it's neighbor helping neighbor that gets us through this, but we get in a situation where all neighbors are in need, and that's where we have to step up from other parts of North Carolina to bring the resources in and the people in to help recover from this disaster. So I'm going to call on first Senator Thom Tillis, who is here with us today, and he can give you some insight into what he's seen and what the feds can do. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, everybody here, my colleague Ted Budd and my congressional colleagues, David Rouser and Greg Murphy. I'm going to be brief. I think what we have to do now is recognize that there is an active rescue operation going on. And the best thing that we can do is stay out of the way of the professionals and the volunteers and everybody that are doing that. Our primary reason for being here is because of the unique nature of this storm. You just heard the Secretary of Agriculture, Commissioner of Agriculture, say that this is one of the most significant storm we've ever experienced. If you're in the Piedmont area, you're on the coast, that may be hard to imagine. But if you're up here in the mountains and you see how this water has gone down dozens of valleys and surprised so many communities, we've got to be prepared to be in this for the long haul. So I want to thank American Red Cross, Baptist on Mission, all the volunteers, the people that are on the ground 24/7 now providing aid. For my part, Thom Tillis, if you've got access to the internet or a loved one can reach out to you, you can go to my website at tillis.senate.gov. All the emergency numbers are there. We'll do everything we can to help. And I'll turn it over to Ted Budd.
Again, I just want to thank everybody for being here, and it's wonderful to be with my colleagues as well. Look, this is a tough season for Western North Carolina. We've also reached out to our colleagues in the eastern part of Tennessee, those down in Georgia, and our prayers are with them as well. But if I want to, first of all, I want to thank all the law enforcement, the volunteer firemen, the full-time firemen, and all first responders. Everyone here, Highway Patrol, every single agency is working together. This is absolutely unprecedented. Communications down, cell towers down. Just one of the mobile carriers had lost 303. This is one of the major carriers, 303 towers. Within 24 hours, they had about half of those up and running, but they knew that they would hit a plateau because they get more and more difficult as they go into far reaches of Western North Carolina. But this is, as we're renowned for here in this state, we're resilient, particularly the mountain regions here. Just amazing people that are largely self-sustaining. But part of my job as an elected official from the federal government is to bring as many resources as quickly as possible to cut through bureaucracy. That's what they sent us to Washington for. And so far, in an unprecedented situation, we're seeing tremendous coordination. There's a lot of work to do. Again, there's the immediate things. It's saving life and limb, and then it's getting resources as quickly as possible and getting folks what they need. Senator Tillis at tillis.senate.gov and Ted Budd at bud.senate.gov. Reach out to us. Reach out to our office. We have an office here in Western North Carolina. But I just also want to thank the private citizens, whether they're aviators, whether they're search and rescue. We're talking to them. It's just so impressive what people are doing, coming in from out of state and being helpful. So we ask people to be in prayer and to please be safe. Thank you.
Next, I want to call on Congressman David Rouser to come up, and then after that, Congressman Greg Murphy.
Well, I want to thank all those who are helping the many, many victims of this, very, very tragic storm. We deal with hurricanes a good little bit in eastern North Carolina. 2016, we had Hurricane Matthew. 2018, Hurricane Florence. I remember in 1999, Hurricane Floyd. All of them were major flood events, but in eastern North Carolina, this really is unprecedented here. This would be the equivalent, at least in my mind, of 50 inches of snow at Wrightsville Beach. I mean, how do you prepare for that? There is no way to prepare for that. And even if you do try to prepare for that, it's still, in this case, 25, 31, 32 inches of rain. And it's just a very, very difficult situation. But I tell you what, I have been so impressed and so uplifted by the spirit that you see of the many volunteers and all those who are sending supplies in. I know we have folks all over my district in southeastern North Carolina, all over North Carolina, all over the country who are sending supplies and certainly lifting up everyone in their prayers as well. I guess the final thing I would say is we have the immediate need, but there's going to be tremendous long-term need here. That's the one thing I can share from my experience in eastern North Carolina dealing with hurricanes, is that immediate need usually is the easiest part. The long-term recovery is the hard part. And there's going to be a substantial amount of long-term recovery that's going to be needed here. And I can pledge to you that certainly my office, I know our two United States senators, and in fact the entire North Carolina delegation is going to work very, very hard to make sure this area, this part of the state gets what it needs to recover. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. But with God's help, we're going to get there. And after all, we are North Carolinians. I'll turn it over now to Greg Murphy, my colleague just to my north.
Afternoon, everybody. Just as Representative Rouser said, this is about North Carolina. He and I come from the entire coast, and time again, after we've had hurricane and flooding events, the people of Western North Carolina and the rest of the state have come to our aid. And now it's time for the rest of the state to come to Western North Carolina's aid. Flooding is an entirely different situation as far as what happens in the east. We're able to park water, we're able to pool water, it leads off slowly. Here in the mountains, it comes down slopes. You have gully washers, you have flash floods with so much of a higher velocity water, which we've seen from the air tragically has taken out villages and homes of the like. And so, again, in support, we are here. We are a North Carolina. We are a united North Carolina. Representative Rouser and I were actually going to have our yearly water summit today in Wilmington, where we talk about these flooding issues in North Carolina, but it was too important. We canceled that today to come out and try to assess damage and see how we, as members of Congress from across the state, can be of assistance to our brothers here in the western part of the state. Our prayers are with them. It's great to meet with some folks already from eastern North Carolina that are here serving meals. So again, this is a North Carolina issue. It's a federal issue, but a state and local issue. And we're here to try to help people get their lives back together.
I thank all of our federal representatives for being here, and We are North Carolinians, and time after time after time, when we've had these major events, we have all pulled together. The things that divide us no longer divide us now. We have got to stand together and help these people that need the help so bad. So we're going to do that. And we have visited with Baptist on Mission and their feeding operations up here. We have worked with them in many, many different cases of disasters that are absolutely amazing. And I would ask people to volunteer. Take the time to, out of your busy life, to volunteer and help someone. There is no better feeling that you'll ever have knowing that you made a difference in somebody's life. Also, I wanted to give people that are in agriculture our hotline number at the Department of Ag. That number is 1-866-645-9403. That hotline is open and working, and if you need help, please let us know what we can do to help you at this time. And it's going to be a long-term fix. There's no question. This is a marathon, but by spring of the year, we've got to figure out a way to have these farmers back in business, ready to go for the next year. It's our food supply, and we have got to have them working. I thank all of the responders up here for what they've done, and all the people from the outside. I see the American Red Cross here. The list is even too lengthy to go on, and there will be more. This is just the beginning, not the end. I thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Call on us at the Department of Agriculture if there's anything that we can do, and if we can't do it, we have the contacts to do it. So use this number, call us, and we'll be here to help. Thank you.